FPL experts have made a good start to the FPL season, and today we're going to be looking at how they're planning to set up for FPL Game Week 2 and which highly owned players should we keep or sell. Let's get this one to 500 likes and subscribe if you haven't done already. Let's get into it. Here's the standing in the Experts Mini League then, with the Experts side in 39th place on 64 points. It looks to be a very competitive league. Let me know in the comments whether your Game Week 1 performance puts you within the top 10 of the league. And there's some familiar faces making up the top 10, including some popular YouTubers. We've got Yelena in there, we've got FPL Aiden, we've got FPL Graduates, Ben, FPL Merch, Andy Martin, FPL Tactics taking top spot on 96 points, closely followed by Fantasy Football Hub's AI team. Now, a lot of the teams that made this top 10 did start the season with Salah over Haaland and Salah captain, so this could absolutely change on its head once we've got that Haaland Game Week 2 fixture against Ipswich at home. And it's worth noting that the 96 points from FPL Tactics did include a bench boost in Game Week 1. Should we be using a chip in Game Week 2? Well, it's one of the questions I've asked the experts this week. Now, rightly or wrongly, there's been a lot of transfer activity in the market for highly owned players that failed to deliver in Game Week 1. So I asked the experts a simple question this week on some of these popular picks, whether we should keep or whether we should sell. And the results are very clear on this, which should help managers that have got problems with knowing what to do with certain players this week. 50% of managers have said to sell Kwanzaa, who looks already to have lost his place as the starting centre-back alongside Virgil van Dijk, with Konate now coming in. The issue is Kwanzaa has already dropped in price overnight from 4.5 million to 4.4 million, meaning that if you had no funds in the bank to start the season, you can only now select a 4 million defender option to replace him in one move. So for that reason, it's probably become more of a keep than a sell. Elsewhere in the defence, 18% have voted to sell Barco, with the other 82% looking to keep. There are rumours circulating overnight that Seville are in the market to buy the youngster, which is a surprise, which means that there's probably a new left-back coming in at Brighton anyway, which is why they're willing to let him go. The other player that's seen quite a few managers looking to sell is Nkunku. 82% said hold, 18% said sell. They've seen enough after a poor performance in the opening game week and an early substitution as well. All eyes on Chelsea in midweek in their team for the Europa Conference League qualifying game. Moving on then, Anthony Gordon, 96% say to hold him. We haven't had time to judge him properly with the red card killing his Game Week 1 fixture at home to Southampton. Hopefully we see an improvement from him. 96% also looking to keep Chelsea's Cole Palmer, who has got that difficult fixture City at home out of the way now. Hopefully, with the fixtures that Chelsea have got upcoming, he can continue to show his class as we saw last season. Unanimous decision with 100% of the experts voting to keep Phil Foden, who of course started from the bench in Game Week 1 but should be working his way back up to full fitness now. You would expect that he gets a start for Ipswich at home, given that the injury list continues to grow in Manchester City's attack, with Savino picking up an injury against Chelsea last weekend. Foden, high hopes for him now with this next upcoming fixture. 96% also looking to keep hold of Bruno Fernandes, who basically did everything but score against Fulham in Game Week 1. 6 shots, 3 on target, 3 in the box, 2 big chances. Xerxes should be the starting forward, which will help Fernandes dropping into the 10 role where he's most comfortable and making those late runs. Watkins, one of the most owned strikers in the game, is being voted at 93% to hold. I think he was going to need at least one game to get himself back up to speed. Arsenal at home next. Remember, Villa got 6 points against Arsenal last season, and then the fixtures look great for Villa beyond that. If you purchased Watkins at the start of the season, it was for good reason, given his consistency last season. That hasn't changed. He just wasn't quite fit enough to play the full game last time out, but he's only going to improve from here, you would imagine. And the last one on the list, João Pedro. This one divided a few more, with 86% looking to hold, 14% looking to sell. I wasn't that impressed with João Pedro's performance, even though Brighton did very well in that 3-0 win against Everton. Just had the one shot. He wasn't as involved as you'd like. Whenever we saw highlights of Brighton attacking, you couldn't see João Pedro in shot. It was all Matoma and Welbeck and Adingra and Minter before he went off as well. So I'm not that hot on João Pedro, and it looks like the experts would be willing to let him go as well. But what we can take away from this is patience. There was no player that was an overwhelming sell from the experts. It's very early into the season. A lot of these assets will come good. So the main piece of advice is to be cautious. Try and roll the transfer this week if you can. As I've mentioned then, a very solid 64 points from the experts for game week 1 with an overall rank of 2.6k. Some promising performances in the defence. Vardiol with a clean sheet and bonus. Porro with a goal and some bonus points as well. He did limp off in that game, so it's interesting to see the experts' transfer plans involving him. Moving into the attack, Saka and Jota were the star performers. Blanks from Smith Rowe and Eze, but potential in their performances. And then up front, there was a goal for Haaland, an assist for captain Isak, unlucky with that captaincy call, given the red card in that game, and a blank from Solanke, but his underlying numbers looked good against Leicester. 3 shots, all in the box and all on target. 1 big chance. His time potentially will be coming. And the experts got away with benching Nkunku in game week 1 for City at home. Just a 1-pointer from him. There was very little scores on the bench, which is a little bit of a worry going forward, especially with Porro currently flagged with that ankle knock sustained in the draw against Leicester on the Monday Night Football. Looking into game week 2 then, and this was so conclusive, 100% of the experts have voted to roll the transfer, taking a chance on Porro's fitness. So it is going to be Henderson in goal again, West Ham at home. Hopefully we can start to see a bit more defensive improvement from Palace, although Anderson moving to Fulham is a little bit of a concern. It will help Robinson though in the defence with promoted Leicester up for him. Vardiol with another promoted side in Ipswich at home, and Porro for Everton at home. If there's any chance that he can stay fit, I think he's going to be brilliant this season. It's lovely to see home games for the full defence. And of course, we have got Harwood Bellis on the bench sub 2 for Nottingham Forest at home. If Porro was to miss out, Barco, is he still going to be a Brighton player come the game week 2 deadline? We do not know at this point. Moving into the attack then, and the big decision was who to bench. And interestingly, the experts have voted 69% of them to bench Nkunku and start Smith Rowe at home to Leicester. I agree. I think you've got to play the fixtures. I think Smith Rowe has got the better fixture. He's at home. He's got more minutes. So he comes in. We've got Jota's got Brentford at home, which is another great fixture. Eze with West Ham at home. Saka, Villa away, probably the toughest fixture from the front 7. But I think he's proven in the past to be fixture proof and looked very, very sharp in game week 1 with the win against Wolves with his goal and assist. And then moving into the forward line, this picks themselves. Haaland with Ipswich at home. What a fixture. Isak with Bournemouth away and Solanke with Everton at home. Now, when it comes to captaincy, 100% of the experts have voted to captain Haaland at home to Ipswich. And I do ask the experts every week whether we should play a chip. And interestingly, 10% quite fancy Haaland for the triple captain. I think it is an option worth considering, especially because he'll be going into this game fresh with no midweek fixture before or after, probably one of the fixtures of the calendar. And Haaland made very positive comments in his interview post-game week 1 about just how good he is feeling. The only concerns, Rodri injured, it does make the City team just that little less secure, and also the mystery chip, we don't know how that's going to play out later in the season, and whether that means that it could be better to save the triple captainship rather than using it early. So it is a consideration for the experts, as it was for me, but just not convincing enough a percentage to lock it in. If you've enjoyed this one, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments whether you beat the experts in game week 1. Thank you for watching.